Okay, we're back. We're gonna go ahead and go into Orc. I thought about this, and while my MR is really bad, I've got some stuff I can use to do okay in there. And the thing is, I also have Scroll of Fear, 2 of them. So if it's particularly bad in here, I could just read that. It's not the end of the world. Man, even the wizards are giving me a hard time just because I confuse. I'd rather hoped we wouldn't get a vault on this floor that has a lot of stuff in it, but that's that cage vault that I've run into a couple times now. Which seems to have at least 1 or 2 high-level orcs in it. But maybe I'm lucky because I think it usually has a warlord, not necessarily a sorcerer. Sorcerers we just can't handle right now, not really. If I get them at the absolute edge of the vision, and I use that strategy where I make sure that if I do get paralyzed, they can't do much to me, then I'm probably okay. But I mean, I just don't know. This guy. This guy I'm just gonna confuse. And he walks into the lava. Well, I guess we shouldn't walk past this vault. We'll wait for the night to end. The only reason I'm really going in here first and not finishing out dungeon is I just really want to get some crossbow bolts, and there should be a few in here. I mean, you would think that Oko would be gifting me a few more, but he's just not. And so we need to get a little bit ahead of the numbers, you know what I mean? I suppose it's possible I would run into Yaktars before the end of dungeon. It's not really something I can rely on. Okay, let's walk on out of here. Gathered quite a few things. Pull these things to a hallway. I don't mind losing their chainmail and battle axes and things like that. It's really no big deal, so into the lava they go. Now, if they had crossbows, I would be upset about that because, well, as you can see, we still have 4 bolts and no more. And that's everything that's spawned. We've simply been using up bolts a little too much. you know, as soon as this character hits its stride, after a little while, once we find a small amount of bolts, we'll be, whoops, we'll be okay. You know, it's just we just have to get to that point. We should be able to melee this. It does feel a little strange that the character's having a little bit of trouble. I mean, it's not really a big deal. I don't feel like the character's weak, don't get me wrong. It just feels, despite being a Centaur, it feels like a normal character right now, almost. Sort of an odd feeling. Whoa, okay. This one we walk away from. Now, remember, absolute edge of vision. So that works. We'll just kill him with bolts. Get him with that, you know, that hex. Okay, this is not the best, because if a sorcerer comes and happens to be standing there, I'm in some serious trouble. Ooh, and there were two-headed ogres. That's ugly. You know what? That's enough to kill me in one hit. Possibly, depending on what my GDR and whatnot is, which is not great since I'm wearing a scale mail. So we're just going to finish out some dungeon first. Get a little more hit points. Maybe find some better body armor, perhaps. Hopefully get some more bolts. I mean, Oka's got to gift me some stuff soon. Come on. I think this character just feels weird because I'm being forced to melee things. And I just have not done that in so long. For the majority of this streak, really. Which makes it feel awkward. It's not to say you can't melee things on a Centaur. You can. Nothing's stopping you. It's just not optimal, really. Alright, here's that troll ghost. What could we do about this? We could use Phantom Mirror, I suppose, but I'd rather not waste that. Okay, we got the Paralyze. We can just whack them now. Took a couple charges, it's not that big of a deal. Alright, what's going on in here? This could have all kinds of nastiness in it. And for a unique ring, and that's it. 5 teleport. 34 bolts. Alright. Just zombies on this thing? Okay. Okay. Centaur warrior. Well, first of all, let's clone that thing. Okay, we're gonna fear. It doesn't quite work on the... This sucks. This could have been done better. Now that we've got some distance on the things that do damage. Well, I have this lamp of fire and I should have used it before. And I should have used heroism. This could have been a lot better all over. Really messed this up. We'll just hex this stuff. Anyway, we cleared it. But yeah, it could have been a lot better. That's on me. It's bad tactics. Didn't really think it through enough. Well, the ring's okay. The robe is just as I expected, not good. Okay. Well, we'll walk away from Francis. Try to fight these slimes one at a time. This is okay too. And I'll tell you why. It's because I can paralyze them easily. unfortunately, it goes to waste a little bit. I had to get away from that hornet. Remember, these things can do 22 damage each. Okay. Francis has Iron Shot and Haste, and right now Francis is hasted, so Francis can do 150 damage. Technically. So the only thing that makes sense is to not engage. Ghost Moth, huh? Wow, what a weird place for a hatch to take me. What? Alright, that's a bizarre vault. Okay, that makes more sense. It was a shapeshifter. I was like, why? Why is it, why? I was thinking to myself, like, why is it an invisible spark wasp? But it was just a shapeshifter. Alright, I need this teleport to take me out. Yeah, this is rough. We are burning through resources a bit. Let's see if I can kill this shapeshifter. There we go, it's dead. Phantasmal warriors are no joke. Of course, this is partially on me for not training enough defenses, so... That's weird. I could have sworn crossbows was close to 27 a while ago, but then again, we've been making rather slow progress, so... Oh no. This really sucks. Whoa. Okay. Icicle has how much range? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And he uses haste. Pretty much have to blink away because he could get double energy. Do I not have any haste myself? That sucks. Well, we're going to spend one turn using heal wounds just to give myself a little bit of a buffer. This is nasty. We've made some mistakes here. I should have probably hexed the Etten. I mean, it's not like I didn't know that Francis was lurking around here. I want to teleport, but I'm not going to. I'm going to go into the darkness because I've got to get away from Francis. He's following. unfortunately, but that's okay because he can't really catch up to me even if he's hasted. Thank you, Centaur speed. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, now hold on. I thought I was in map mode. I was trying to, like, navigate to different staircases. That would have been stupid if I had died. Yeah, I thought I hit, like, X, but... Yeah, I don't know how I wasn't in map mode. You know, this thing where if you hit the downstairs button, it shows you different staircases. Whew, okay, gotta slow down a bit. Could have died there, just based on a misclick, which would have been very, very annoying. Now, I'm in a vulnerability, and it's not like this thing is unkillable. That's the messed up thing about it, is I can just take him out like this, and he's done, you know? So, it would be very embarrassing to die to this when I have more than enough tools to kill it extraordinarily easily. Man, that was bad. We could have ended the streak right there, just off fat fingering the keyboard. I mean, that would not be a good feeling. Wow. Now, I probably should have used a fear scroll instead of going right back up when I realized my mistake. So I was also playing too quickly after the mistake was made. So a lot of badness there all around. That's the kind of thing that ends a run. Anyway, triple crossbow, huh? Oh, flaming. I guess I won't use it for now, because I would really like to be fast. Okay, Bailey. I really hope it's the crossbow Bailey. That would make this character just a lot better. It's not the crossbow Bailey. And we're rather low on bolts, so let's stop using them. We'll be relying on wands pretty heavily to get through this. Let's clear out this little ring around the base to begin with. Wow, disintegrate isn't doing much for me. Get those double zaps. Alright, now as for the things here, Boxer Beast is good. This helmet could be good. Oh yeah. Nice. And these... Wow. That's interesting. Slave plus 6 is pretty nice, but the minus Tela is not. No, it is not. And then we have to live with RF minus? I don't know about all that. I just don't think that's the way forward. So we're gonna drop that. As cool as it is to find artifact dragon armor, it's just not the way. Running around with minus Tela sounds really scary. If it was on something swappable, like a ring or a weapon, maybe, yeah, sure, no problem. Because you can just take one turn, swap it, move on. There we go. We're slowly building up our stockpile of bolts. I've been spoiled is the problem. It's just too good on these other characters with bows. And I've been finding Faith a lot. I mean, I've really been having an easy time. Many characters do have to swap off, you know, to melee every once in a while. And we simply haven't been doing that. And there's, you know, you can do that. You can get around it. By the way, I'm happy to see Nessos, because I get a chance at another cool Centaur barding. This is flying. I would rather have stealth. So we'll, wow. I was going to say we'll clear the rest of this floor pretty easily, but we've got some melee here. You know, I have fear, but I think we're going to, instead of using that, we're just going to use Ice Blast here. Get two smited immediately, which sucks, but what are you going to do? Now we're sort of between a rock and a hard place. So let's look at the hex percentages here, and it's not so bad. It's not so bad for the Cyclops, and I wish he wasn't throwing rocks at me. Thankfully, we've gotten pretty lucky on the throws. 35 plus 20 is 55 damage. Finally, we stop getting unlucky on the hexes, and he goes down to it. More Centaur barding. That one's really good. So finally we have a pip of resistance in fire and ice, and that's significantly better than where we were at a minute ago. That saves me from quite a lot of damage sources. run down all of my bolts on these guys. I don't need to carry these javelins. But yeah, I don't know if it's that bolts mulch quicker than arrows. I kind of want to look this up. Nope, it's the same for arrows and bolts. Really weird that seems like it's mulching a lot faster. I'm not sure where that's coming from. It's probably just that I'm, unlike with arrows, I'm not finding very many on the floor. There's no centaurs carrying crossbows. They all have arrows and stuff, so it's one of the many reasons why bows are just better. Because you could definitely get away with the whole no melee thing. Sometimes you'll get lucky and you'll find a decent number of bolts on the ground, but we simply haven't, so what are you going to do? Oh, this is annoying. Really annoying. Okay, we're gonna break out the big guns. That is one thing I really like about evocations. It gives you this limited use cannon, you know, that just ends problems for you. And as long as you don't overuse it, as long as you don't try to act like evocations is your main way of dealing with problems, like any problem, even trivial problems, as long as you don't do that, you've really got this thing in reserve that helps you quite a lot. Now this kind of sucks. We don't want to be next to Azrael. Running away from him is not really an option, even as a centaur. But he hexes really easily, so down he goes. And with him out of the way, we have to deal with only fire, not hellfire. Well, or damnation if you prefer. And we have fire resistance from this centaur barding, so we're totally good. This is no good. Come on. Ugh. That's not cool when, like, I understand it was 34% fail rate, but we shot it like 5 times. I mean, come on. Give me like a small break here, guys. But I mean, you can't expect the RNG to work that way. I mean, especially if it's below 50%, but even if it's above, you have to operate under the assumption that it's not going to work 5 times in a row, because that's what can happen. And if you operate under that assumption, you know, the worst case scenario is what's going to happen. That means you have a plan for that. And you can be pleasantly surprised if the game throws you a bone. So that I believe is the correct way to play the game. Whew, this is something. modifications to reach 10. Let's train crossbows, get it up to 26, get that triple crossbow, and perhaps be doing enough damage that we save ammo and stop having this ammo crisis. But yeah, I don't think, see, I deserve this for deviating from the plan. The plan always works. The character plan, the thing I've been sort of workshopping in these runs. The plan always works 100% of the time. The game will not simply not give you a Centaur. At some point, you are going to find one, and it's going to be in dungeon, and he's going to give you at least a short bow. Chances are good you're going to see a lot of Centaurs. I mean, you would have to have a really weird RNG to not get any Centaurs. I don't think I've ever seen it, not even once, and I played quite a bit. So you're going to get your ammo, you're going to get your short bow, you're probably going to get your longbow, particularly if you're worshipping Oka or Trog. I mean, you're going to get something. But most importantly, you're not going to have an ammo problem. And your weapon's just going to be better, much faster, due to the speed situation. So, if you don't deviate from that plan, even if you find a, what was it, a +7 flaming hand crossbow that pushed me into this? I mean, part of it is that I was playing a Wanderer, so... this is bad. Let's walk away. If he paralyzes me, he paralyzes me. 47%. I would love to know what book he has. If he banishes me, that would be annoying, but not the end of the world. Alright, well, we got him, so no problem. Alright. Now, because of the general slowness of this, I'm going to finish out Orc. And then I'm going to cut the video because we just don't really have time to keep it anywhere close to an hour if I start doing lair runes. And we'll just do the lair runes next time. Whoa, I don't want to go to slime. Whoops. I was trying to search for MR+, which we have none. So again, with these Orc Sorcerers, we want to keep them on the edge if we see any more, and I would be very surprised if we don't see any more. I mean, it can happen that you get very few of them in R2, but it's unlikely unless you get the Ogre ending, which is, you know, even worse for MR, since the Ogre mages are really nasty. But it looks like this is one of the more normal endings. So we're gonna... I was gonna exclude that off, but I believe there's an entrance in the other half anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I'll just auto-explore into it anyway, so this is fine. Yeah, I think it's like this thing over here, this structure. I'm gonna check it out now. But I think there's like a back entrance. Hold on, let me get these bolts. Oh, there's a side entrance. Yeah, this thing is big. Good thing that we can melee the knights now. Save myself a few bolts. Alright, these things have pole arms. Taking them to a hallway doesn't help much. Yeah, this is the vault I thought it was. So there should be not just these two guys, but quite a few priests down here, if I remember correctly, in little pairs of two. And Saint Roca, interesting. Now we will take out Saint Roca pretty easily. Same old thing, vulnerability plus paralyze. I mean, that's your ticket. Any character that just drops vulnerability and acts like it's a bad thing, like, oh, this is a cursed scroll, basically, I don't want it. You're definitely, you're doing yourself no favors. You understand? Because it's, oh man, this guy is just following me. But yeah, it's like, it's a way to very easily take out uniques. You know. For any character, really. I mean, you don't even need to train evocations, although you should, a little bit. But even somebody with 0 evocations and a Wand of Paralysis is going to get some use out of the vulnerability plus Hex plan. It works really well. Okay, I've got quite a few Orc Sorcerers here, so we're going to open up... Well, I wanted to open up with Lamp of Fire. Didn't quite work for me. Should be using Heroism during these fights, probably. Why don't we use it real quick? Okay. That worked out. I was hoping that the Orc Warrior would stay alive for at least most of that, and he did. And that allowed me to just lightning rod through those things. Anyway, part of what makes this whole idea of focusing on ranged combat so good is the fact that I can truly focus. On those bow guys, I didn't have to use maces at all, or any kind of melee. Oh, jeez. This didn't quite go right. But anyway, yeah, what I'm saying is that because I've used crossbows, I've effectively removed part of the thing that made this so efficient. Because I had to train a side weapon. Which maybe normally I could get away with not doing that. And I don't just mean on like a berserker, but just on any centaur, because the hooves are so good as a side attack, because you can walk away and reset fights, and you can deal with a certain amount of tedium and not train it. But it's a lot easier to do that when you've found some kind of good weapon, which the best thing we had for melee really was, you know, it was this flail of draining, which is good, but nothing really to write home about, you know. Hat of Pondering. I'm probably gonna wear it. we're probably still going to be faster than most characters. Or most things. I just need the MR, you know? That's the biggest thing. Okay, we'll amplify. We'll use lightning rod to finish him off. Down he goes. Just because we have a little MR now doesn't mean that we're immune. As you can see, it's still 40% in fact, which is... oh. Didn't actually get it equipped. Must have gotten stopped. I didn't notice. Still 13%. Whoops, I don't want to put bolts into the deep water. Alright. Didn't really find many bolts in here, which is not so great. But we do have Snake Pit. And some of those guys in here might have crossbows. Swamp is easier, but I'm tempted to go into Snake first. My lack of defenses is going to be a real problem, though. This character is weirdly fragile. It shouldn't be, but it kind of feels that way. We don't have our elec, and we could walk around with our poise, and we should. Well... I'll think about it in between videos. I'm not quite sure. But we'll see. Next time we'll do the 2-layer runes. We'll probably do a 3rd rune as well. Until then, I'm signing out.